Hello, everybody, and welcome to this Beekast webinar on virtual events. So we'll just give people a few moments to join, those who are still logging in. And yeah, so just to clarify then, introductions. Nice to meet everybody. I'm Joshua from Beekast, and I'm in charge of the international business development operations. We're also with, I'm also with my main man, Loic, who is Beekast's VP for marketing, and he will be answering all of your questions as we go along throughout the course of this webinar. I'd just like to invite you, first of all, to log in to this Beekast, the Beekast session, which we'll be using for the webinar. And you can see at the top of the screen there within Livestorm, to participate, go to www.beekast.live and then enter the session code VEDR. Okay? So give people a few moments to do that. Just to clarify, so we'll be running everything within Beekast, hence why we're here to discover Beekast for your interactive virtual events. And I would invite all of you to ask all of your questions within the discussion forum that you can see within Beekast. Okay, so just give people a few more moments. Feel free to comment already or like you can on the discussion wall that you can see here where I've said post your questions. Hopefully people are all logged in by now. We will proceed. So I mean, yeah, as you can see, you've got the instructions again as a reminder to log in for those who have just joined now. Otherwise, we'll be moving swiftly onwards. And just to clarify, again, for those who have just arrived, so this is an introductory webinar. It's designed for people who are beginners at using Beekast, who are new to the tool and haven't used it before. So yeah, to give you a bit more context. So, agenda. So what are the goals of today's webinar? Well, of course, above all, it's for you to experience an online virtual event with Beekast. And so that will be the main part of this webinar. And then during the second part in what follows, I will give you a demo and I will show you how easy it is to create and set up your own activities with Beekast. There'll be lots of opportunities for you to ask your any questions that you have. So don't hesitate to do that. Okay, so goals of this webinar. So firstly, to get a preview of Beekast's potential for hosting your online events. Again, because it's an introduction, then it will just so you can get an idea of the capabilities of the platform for your events. And you'll see how you can create them as well, how easy it is with Beekast. We'll look at some other things as well, so how you can keep the activities fresh, in particular Beekast's inspiration site, and really just so how you can use Beekast to ensure that everybody in your events is engaged and participating. Okay. Okay, so moving onwards. So let's start with an activity first of all. So have you used Beekast before? So give you a few more moments to answer that. You can see this is updating in real time, which is very important. Okay, give a few more seconds for anybody else who wants to answer. Okay, so yeah, I've now closed that activity, and you can see that we can clearly display the results here very easily in real time as a pie, donut, or bar, as you can see. Okay, and I want to again make it as realistic as possible to your actual events and how you would run them with Beekast. So over to a word cloud now. So what makes an online event a success in your eyes? So just send in a word that encapsulates what you think about that. Engagement, interactivity. Okay, you're in the right place then with Beekast. That is our main purpose, to make all of your events more interactive and engaging. Okay, cool. I can see these are feeding in nicely. And we can see that someone has just... So the word engagement has been sent in a couple of times, which is why it appears larger there. Perfect. Okay, so advantages of using Beekast for your events. So as you can see, I mean, as we've just seen, you've got real-time contribution. So people say what they think, and you can really adapt your event based on how things are in reality, rather than if you've planned something and then suddenly you realize, okay, well, this is how people are reacting. Then you can make the necessary changes if you need to, very, very easily. The idea is also that people who are very shy and won't necessarily contribute in events, through tech, you're encouraging them to do so, because kind of removing that physical barrier, if you like, of awkwardness. They can just participate, no problem. Worth bearing in mind as well, obviously this is for virtual events, but historically Beekast is also used for hybrid events. So you can use it on your smartphones and tablets as well, which is ideal for when we eventually move beyond the COVID reality at the moment, and when things are hybrid and in person as well. Bear that in mind. And yeah, as you can see, it's user friendly. You can ensure that people remain interested, and you can evaluate their engagement very, very quickly in real time and really leave a lasting impression. So we're going to go over to some questions now already. See if you have any questions. Give you a few seconds to write, send in any questions if you have them. No? Okay. No worries. Well, of course, you've got the discussion forum, so you'll have other opportunities to ask questions as we go along. Don't hesitate to do so. Okay, so summary then. How you would use Beekast in the event context for your virtual events. So you'd use it before the event to really determine and fix people's expectations of that event. And you also use Beekast to share all of the documents that you have relevant to the event. You can also share lists of participants and the timetable as well. So all of those resources you want people to have prior to the event, you share all of that within Beekast very, very simply. And then during the event itself, certainly you would use it to break the ice, as you've already seen already with a couple of examples of icebreakers, notably the word cloud. And then it's really when you want to make your events as participative as possible, getting everybody to engage and send in ideas, and above all, perhaps to make it more memorable so that you leave a lasting impression. And then finally, third part, certainly not the least important, is that collecting of data relating to your event for the post-event follow-up. That's obviously very important. But it's not just a question of merely having that data. Beekast helps you ensure that you've got data that's very valuable, so that you know where people participated, so that you know the ideas that people sent in. So all of that is going to give you more information so that you can better target from a marketing point of view, for instance, but also in terms of just sending those reports to your clients and adding more value to them in I guess a more and more crowded marketplace. So anyway, moving on. So before your event, as we've mentioned, you use Beekast to determine expectations and share your documents in advance. So just going to ask you to take part now in an activity to show you an example of this. So your expectations for our next event. Just going to leave this open for a few moments so you can participate in this activity with me. And yeah, this is the form activity, one of many activities that we have available. Give you a few moments to participate in that. Obviously, you can see it's a very straightforward example. The idea is that you can understand the capabilities of the platform without needing to go into too many details at this stage. Okay. Okay, perfect. I will be closing this activity now. So we have got the answers here already. So yeah, collected that information about expectations for our next event, purpose and objectives, topic, collect results. Okay, good. And then we can see which format would you prefer. Okay, range of answers. Good, good. So yeah, you see how it works, very, very easy to use, and you can get that data prior to your event. Another opportunity, if you do have any questions. Doesn't look like there are any questions for the time being. Don't hesitate to post questions on the discussion forum within Beekast. Okay, so moving on. So during your event, so we've mentioned that you use Beekast for icebreakers to get maximum input, but you can also use it for team challenges or where you want to challenge people to think critically. I'm going to show you an example of the team challenge in a few moments. And yeah, we've mentioned about creating a lasting impression. Okay, so I have now started this activity, which is the challenge feature. So the Who's Who game. So I'm just going to leave that open for you to answer. And I can see in real time the progression there. You can see at the bottom that there is a little trophy icon. That is the Podium feature. And bear in mind that this is, when we display the Podium, it will have individuals. So yeah, but you can also create actual teams. For instance, if it's a big if it's a big event where you've got different companies present, then you could have set the teams up accordingly, or do it in a fun, playful way. I don't know, the Doors, the Rolling Stones, etc. So yeah, just going to let that run for a few more moments, and then we will see the results there. So the idea really is that you get maximum input from your participants throughout all of these activities, so that you can add as much value as possible to your virtual events, stimulate debates and meaningful discussions, and really just make it easier for the audience to participate simultaneously, and removing the constraints of time and space. Yeah. So again, in your events, you would do just like what I'm doing now and encourage people to just send in questions that they may have in the discussion forum. Yeah. So yeah, really getting your audience on board. Cool, I can see this is progressing nicely. I'll close this in a few moments. And as you saw already, you can use Beekast to really generate ideas and enable people to form their opinions very, very quickly. And then you can also use it for evaluation questions based on the topic of your virtual event. I imagine all of your topics will be very varied, but you can see that this works wherever you need interactivity and collaboration. I'm going to close this activity now. So I've now closed that, and if I click on this little trophy here, which I've just done, then you can see we've got the podium here. And yeah, so you can see that very clearly. And if I were to enable the pointer feature, we could see we've got Humble Rhinoceros in first place there. The names that it creates, you can make it so that they're random like this, so they're based on animals, so that it's a bit more playful, but you don't have to opt for that setting. You're in complete control. So yeah, and we're going to go over to another activity now, without further ado. So yeah, imagine you want to just have a survey with your audience very, very quickly. I'm just showing you an example of this. So yeah, leave this open for a few moments. This is obviously something that is used in almost all events, the survey functionality. As you saw earlier, it's nice because you can display the results. It's a very visually pleasing format for that. Okay, so just leave that open a bit longer. Enable people to participate if they haven't already. Okay, cool. Well, I've now closed the activity, and yeah, so you can now see the results here. And just like last time, donut, pie, or bar chart for displaying the results there. Perfect. Okay, so and moving on to show you more activities. Again, you get the idea. It's just to show you the functionalities of the software. So this is the multiple choice functionality. I'll give you a few moments to select your answer there. I've made it so the activity automatically closes anyway after I think it was a minute. So yeah, that's good because it means that you're using Beekast to ensure that your event is very efficient and constantly moves forward with clear defined deadlines that you've set up in advance. Very important so that you can always respect the timing of everything. And yeah, I've now closed that activity, and yeah, so we can see the results there very, very clearly. And then of course you've got the podium as well there. Okay, so moving on to the next activity. So this is the Selfie Wall functionality, and this is quite a nice one because you won't find this elsewhere. And again, so a very wide range of activities that Beekast has. This is good for team building. It works for a whole range of your virtual events, but wherever you want to showcase any visual content, get people motivated. I mean, to be honest, the sky's the limits for this, but yeah, you just send in photos or any type of image, and that's how it works. So to really make the event as memorable as possible, and we've got some clients who use it in the product design framework, and works very nicely for that, where all of the content is visual. Yeah. So again, just going to leave that open for a few moments there, whilst everybody is sending in their images. I'm going to do the same very quickly. You can also select images. So if you don't have one automatically at your disposal, then you've got the option of selecting images directly from Beekast. There's a whole bank of images there. So fear not, if you're not in the mood for setting a selfie, you can still participate. Okay, going to close this activity in a few moments now to keep it as realistic as possible. This is nice as well because in the event follow-up, you get in the reporting, you get a beautiful mosaic of all of those contributions, which you can then forward on to all of the event attendees to give them a lasting memory, or even ping it into an email that you send over to them. So yeah, and if I now click stop activity, that will give you a quick idea of what that mosaic will look like. So as you can see there. Okay, so questions and answers again. I think we had one. Just have a look at questions. Okay, so test to see if if we just get the discussion forum projected there. So test to see if a reply to this comes up as an icon. Okay. No, that was just someone sending a test. Okay. And we've answered that already. So yeah. With regards to notifications, I think that was maybe the question that Ronan was getting at there. There is the option of having notifications within Beekast itself. That is feature which came out not that long ago, and essentially means that is it relates to a different functionality, actions and decisions. So if you're running a virtual event with the same people who you might have a series of conferences with, particularly in the education sphere, the notification feature is used a lot where from their event contributions, you then need them to follow up with that. So you can use Beekast to notify them within their Beekast sessions themselves to ensure that the necessary action is taken relating to their contributions. Yeah, no more questions. Okay, moving on. So okay, so after your event then, so as we've already mentioned, you really do use Beekast to collect as much feedback as possible from your event, and so that you can really gauge your participants' satisfaction and how engaging it was for them, the event. Identify any negative points perhaps, or things that you can improve on for future events, as you saw with the feedback tool, for instance, well, the form tool more specifically, that we've got a range of feedback tools, but yeah, so you can send out a satisfaction form and survey, for instance, and all of the other evaluation questions that you can send to your participants after your virtual event, seminar, etc., conference is over. And yeah, the idea is so that you can constantly improve the virtual event experience, but also other reasons, as we've touched on already, from a marketing point of view, the more data you have that you can analyze quickly about how your clients feel about the events that you're offering for them, then the better you can position yourselves to for the next events, the easier it is for you to improve, and again, offer yourselves a competitive edge. So yeah, and it also helps you target potential clients who you've not conquered yet, if you're using Beekast, for instance, in the context of virtual webinars for marketing purposes. And as we've already touched on, again, if your event had a strategic component to it, so then the action and decision functionality, which we've spoken about, is a great tool to use for that, for taking the feedback to the next level. So, how are you feeling since our last event, as an example of how you're going to use Beekast for the post-event follow-up, if you like, and the reporting side of things? Just as an example. Again, won't leave this open for too long. You get the idea about how easy and simple Beekast is to use. So we'll close this in a few moments. Okay, I can see there are still some people answering, so I'll give you a few more moments. Okay. So again, so I've closed that activity, and yeah, we've got the results that you can see there very nicely. Okay, perfect. And yeah, of course, can display them in that format. Okay, so now an example of an evaluation. So again, for the reporting side of things and the event follow-up. So I've started that activity, and yeah, this is the form functionality. You've got a range of questions that you can add in there. You can see for the first one, it is a rating tool. That's also a separate activity in its own right, or you can use it within the form Beekast activity. And then we've also got open-ended questions and multiple choice questions that you can integrate within the form there to get that valuable data. Again, just going to leave that open, give you a few moments to participate. Okay, perfect. So you get the idea, and now I've closed that activity, and we can, of course, see the results here very quickly, even immediately in real time. And yeah, so you've got all of that information there. As I've touched on, you'll have all of that in the detailed Beekast reports. We'll talk more about that later. Okay, going to see if you've got any questions, which we can answer. Can you add in an optional insert pronouns on username? That would be a positive option. I think you mean yeah. Oh yeah. You can change. You can absolutely change the names. So perhaps that question's referring to the fact that some of the names were created randomly. That is just because that's how we chose to set up this particular webinar. But you can make it so that people have to enter their first and last name so that they're in complete control. So yeah, the answer is yes, you can make that optional. Other question, is it possible to integrate answers from one slide to another survey, collect first and then rank? Really interesting question, and one which we get asked a lot. So the short answer is you have to copy and paste it. And the reason why it's like that is for security reasons, because we work with a lot of institutions in the financial and banking sectors and services, where from a security point of view, being able to literally just copy the answers from one activity to another can pose a security threat, if you like. So you do have to do it manually for that, but it takes a few seconds, so that's not a problem. Bear in mind, though, that some of the activities you don't need to, they already work perfectly together, so you wouldn't need to do any copying and pasting. For instance, the actions and decisions. And really the activities go hand in hand together and they complement each other, and you don't need to replicate the data, rather you use them for different purposes. For instance, you could have an additional an idea board. You could then run a vote on that within the same tool, and then afterwards, say you've got 100 ideas sent in your event, then you could use, for instance, the prioritizing tool to establish what were the most popular 5 ideas in a very precise way. So yeah, thanks for the questions, by the way. So over to, you already have an idea because you've just experienced it, most importantly, but we'll go into a bit more depth about what Beekast is exactly. So yeah, as you can see, it's a platform to make collaboration easier and more effective for your team. It's an interactive presentation software, if you like, that's used in the event sphere, but it's also used for, as you can see on this slide here, meetings and training in particular, as well as workshops and all of the other areas that are very, very similar to those, like conferences, seminars, and so forth. It's used for all of those areas. Any area that needs collaboration and interactivity, when you've got more than 3 people, you could use Beekast for that when you want to make it more engaging and so forth. And yeah, it really helps you on a daily basis to help set up your meetings. As you can see, this session is or indeed all of Beekast sessions, the product philosophy is slide based, so they're sequential, one after the other. So really, Beekast structures your events for you. It structures your meetings and your training sessions for you due to the product philosophy. So makes all of the preparation time and everything for all of these areas that we've spoken about, meetings, training, and events, so much quicker for you, and then obviously makes it more efficient whilst you're hosting them. And of course, the follow-up and the reporting, it reduces that time on average by 70%, 70. So yeah, and as we've mentioned, to clarify, you can use it. It's a web app, so there's nothing to download, and you merely need a good internet connection to use Beekast, and you can use it with your existing digital tools for the video conferencing side of things, which of course is totally different from what Beekast is all about. Whereas where it's used for the collaboration and interactivity side of things, you can then use it to enhance your Zoom calls, your MS Teams calls, and so forth for all of these events, meetings, training sessions, etc. Of course, you can see Moodle, Google Meet, Skype, and so forth. There are a lot that we've got already that are integrated with Beekast, or you can use as a picture-to-picture integration. Very important point there. So, and worth pointing out, I guess worth mentioning as a side note, you can see Jitsi there. That one is actually available for free. So if you don't have a platform already for the video side of things and you want to use Beekast, you don't need to acquire one of these other ones. You could use Beekast with Jitsi. That's entirely up to you. So yeah, works with your existing tools is the conclusion there. And what we're going to focus on now is, so you've participated with me. Thanks for all of your contributions there, guys. I'm going to show you the back end side of things. And so you can see how it works from the event organizer perspective, if you like. So, give me a few. Okay, so just give me a second. Perfect. So I'm going to show you first of all how you insert your content. So yeah, okay. So you can now see here that this is what it looks like from the event organizer point of view, and you can see here add slide. So in order to insert the content there, I simply scroll down and then PDF, PowerPoint, video content is simply imported in a few clicks. It takes seconds. Video links, so either from your hard drive in MP4 format or from YouTube, Dailymotion, or Vimeo, simply copy and paste the link there. I'll show you one that I've done earlier in a few moments. And yeah, you can see that you've got all of these activities available. We'll touch on the templates in a few moments, but you can see that you've got templates there as well. So just going to show you very quickly how to set up some of these activities. So firstly, so these 3 dots are always crucial for you, and You can see there I simply clicked in, well, I initially just clicked on add a slide, and then I simply selected video. And then once you've selected that, you simply copy and paste the link there, which I've done, that you can see here, and then that is there integrated within Beekast. For the word cloud then, so again, if I were to click add slide, I would simply select word cloud, add the title there, for instance, whatever you want to call it, and then one word, multiple words, live, or at the end of the activity. There are lots of settings that you can change. And yeah, so this is one that I have set up earlier. So what animal best describes how you're feeling today? So you can see that you've got all of those options there. Very, very straightforward. And so with regards to the template side of things then, so so I've got templates here. Say you're not feeling inspired, but you know what your goals are for the event, then you can simply just select the filters and then select the one that matches your event needs. So say, for instance, I want to go for, well, I mean, I could pick any of this. Let's go for initiate communication and group size 30 to 50, and then apply filters. Then I can simply just click this button here, import, and then I will have that. Then I will have that there, and I will do that in a second. I'm just going to show you something else very quickly. So I mentioned that you have Beekast's inspiration site, and really Beekast is your personal trainer, and we've clicked on from within Beekast. We've clicked on the link here for the inspiration site, which then gives you instructions on how to get the most out of that activity, how to run it, how to set it up, and so forth. So you can see that very clearly. And yeah, there's a whole bank of resources available for that. We add to them very, very frequently. If I now click this one, weather reports, then you can see that I've now imported that template. And if I go on settings, then I can show you what it looks like. We actually used this one earlier. And yeah, you can see that is all set up immediately. So it's done for you, saving time for you. So yeah, so I'll show you back to the overview then. So yeah, you've seen the back end really quickly, and to give you just a quick overview now. So yeah, Beekast makes the collaboration for your events far easier and more effective. So on a day-to-day basis, well, for your day-to-day meetings, but also for big events that you might not have on a daily basis, depending on how your company operates. It's easy to use. That's one of the main strengths, and it's very, very intuitive, and yeah, very, very easy for maximum impact. If you're not particularly tech savvy, it's not a problem. You can use it very, very easily. And as you've already seen, there's a wide range of activities available. Just to show you that, I'll show you that so that you can see just some of the activities that you've got. Word cloud, selfie wall, idea board, metaphor, which is a collaborative problem-solving tool, canvas, which is an idea design thinking tool, if you like, and then prioritizing survey, matrix, which is a mapping tool, form, rating, multiple choice questions, ranking. You can see there's a wide range of activities, and we've done lots of these to date. And yeah, so wide range of activities, easy, fast impact, and you can also create the free account that is limited at 3 participants, so that you can test Beekast in advance and play around with it. And the pricing is really dependent on your needs, so it's very, very flexible, which is important for you, so that you get the most out of Beekast. Okay, so don't know if you've got any more questions. So I'm just going to give you going to give you a few more moments for the questions. And whilst you're whilst you're doing that. Okay, cool. So I can see some questions are feeding in. I just want to show you something quickly with regards to the reporting side of things. You would simply just click on documents, and then these are the 3 types of reports that you've got for your events: action plan, Word report, and then of course the statistics. So all of these are available. Questions and answers now. So Q&A. Okay, so is it possible to automize the minutes of an event? Yes, all of it is done for you. It's instantaneous and it is sent by email. So it's a very clean report. That is one of the unique points about Beekast, is the reporting functionalities are very advanced. So that's really where you'll save the most time from the event follow-up. On average, 70% shorter for you in the event reporting side of things. Don't know if there are any more questions, guys. Otherwise, we'll be okay. Cool. So additional resources then. So you can of course sign up for free, and you can see that from within the Beekast session itself that you can access the links for that within the resources that we've integrated within this session. So yeah, you can sign up very easily. I also recommend checking out Beekast's blog. It's updated regularly and it's got a lot of valuable information for best practices and how to get the most out of your events. You've seen the inspiration side as a teaser. Again, you've got the link within this session. I recommend exploring that. It really does give you a lot of ideas for how you can take Beekast to the next level. It's really written by Beekast experts. So strongly recommend that. And of course, yeah, you've got the help center as well, the link for that. And yeah, that's really important, a very useful, crucial resource that helps you get the best out of the software and answer any technical questions that you may have. And I guess that's pretty much it, really. So if obviously this was an introductory webinar intended for those who don't know Beekast already, so it was pretty basic. If you've got an event coming up soon and you've liked what you've seen, do not hesitate to reach out to me. That's my email address there that you can see with my number, or you can click on that link and book an appointment with me directly so that we can help you. And thanks again to my colleague Loic in marketing for preparing this with me and for all of your help. And yeah, and last but not least, thank you to all of you for joining me for this webinar. Enjoy the rest of your day. Goodbye.